I think they are in general. I don't know if it's fair or not. It's
not fair.
It's probably not.
It's not fair because,
but at the same time, or maybe it is fair.
It is. All right, man. Let's talk Magic 2.
Yes.
I haven't heard it.
You didn't miss too much. So,
ooh, now that could be considered hate.
I think I'm about to be on the bad side. Because Magic 2 dropped. Shout out to Nas and Hit Boy. And we had just talked about giving Nas his proper respect when due, and then also holding him accountable. I think this is an accountable moment. Seeing some mixed reviews on this one. Just the thoughts overall. Lone said he hasn't heard it, but Terry, you heard it. Jay Moore, you
haven't heard it enough.
Enough, okay. Fair enough.
No, I've run it 3 or 4 times. That's what I've listened to because I knew we were going to have the discussion.
But what I kind of want to talk about him being an older artist and our expectation for older artists and creatives. Like, do we hold them to a higher standard than we should? Because with everyone, age comes and attrition. And
I had one issue.
Okay,
this is the reason why I was like, it's cool.
Okay.
It did not sound, and you know how we're kind of music snobs in a sense, and how things sound.
For sure.
It sounded like it was recorded in the red a little bit. Like when I was I'm thinking I'm adjusting my speakers, my sound, and it still sounded that way to me.
Wasn't like an effect. It was just,
I don't know what it was, but it you know how a speaker doesn't sound like it's loud, but it doesn't sound good.
Right.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was getting off of it, and that kind of took away from some of it to me. And I mean, it's a quick project too, and it wasn't whack at all.
This one has, I pulled up the track list. I think this is around 11.
Oh, okay.
But the play length is fairly quick.
I watched like he dropped a video for it or whatever, and so I did see part of that. And the song that I heard from the video, it was straight. Like the beat was cool. Nas was doing Nas. It was whatever. I didn't go back to it.
I mean, it's, to me, I got, so King's Disease is its own entity. It's its own series. And then Magic had Magic 1. Those were always, to me, looked at as these didn't make the cut. Right? Throwaways. Well, not throwaways, but leftovers. If you want to call
people are arguing that Magic was better than the King's Disease series.
So they need to calm down.
Yeah, I'm cool on that argument.
This one here was better?
No, the first one.
Oh.
I disagree 100%.
There's only 2 of them, right?
Yeah.
But
with this one, I got these didn't make the cut vibes for all the records.
Well, Nas,
not all the records.
It was
not
cool.
all of it.
I mean, the only ones that stood out to me were even the 50 Cent verse. I got hyped for that because I'm like, man, 50's back. He said Nas pulled me out. I'm like,
you did not feel like 50 was back.
I thought this is what they said. That this is how it was sold to me.
Down.
Nas pulled me. Nas got me to pop out, y'all. Y'all get ready for this. That's how it was sold.
They from Queens, man.
Yeah, they from Queens.
They're just giving each other a little nod. They both rich.
But I fell for it though. I fell for it.
I don't know how you. If that's your problem with the.
No, it's not that. It's not just that.
Because that's more personal. I think. For you to think that 50 was about to pop out.
I thought he was gonna pop out,
be on his 2004-ish.
Not even close.
Or something like that. Nah.
It's cool, man. I can't even remember the records that I like, but I listened a couple times.
No, the song Black Magic stands out to me.
Yeah, that's good.
First of all, because they flipped a Boyz II Men sample.
That is true. That is true.
And it wasn't anything that unless you just know Boyz II Men, and I'm not going to sample snitch here. Even though
thank you.
Go ahead. You know what? You go ahead and look that up in your own time. I'm not going to do that and make it easy for you. But I thought that was dope. Irvin Magic Johnson, Bokeem Woodbine. I like both of those tracks.
Yeah.
The thing
it's
is,
not a bad project.
When I listen to this record, there
cool.
are more than half of the records I genuinely like. Okay, and none of them I will say, yeah, he could have kept that, because I've listened to Nas projects and been like, look, he could have kept basically all of the Lost Tapes too. We've had that
conversation.
Yeah. Lost Tapes 1 was great.
Oh yeah, Pistols on your album cover. Like these are records that I don't think are just, it's cool. I think these are good to great records. And I'm, for all the complaining sometimes we do about hip hop and where is it going and are we taking steps backwards? The fact that I got a Nas record and a Killer Mike record. Now, mind you, the Killer Mike record is far and above.
Yeah,
he's lapping the field right now.
Out there
he's lapping the field right now.
But the fact that I can get a Nas record and a Killer Mike record in basically the same month.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that.
I'm. This is why when people always want to talk about hip hop, I was like, yeah, but you don't listen to hip hop. You go off of what you hear at the club. You go off of what's on the radio and what's on the blogs. And I'm not even talking about hip hop blogs. You checking for what's going on in the shade room as your experience in consuming hip hop. But my experience is different because I still take those deep dives and listen to the stuff that is not salacious, not just on foolishness, and I still am a fan of the art of hip hop and emceeing, and there is still enough for us to consume to where, because we talked about the foolishness probably the last 3 or 4 weeks and just how
it's out there,
but we as people who love hip hop, we gotta make sure that we prop up the people who are still making an effort. And you got to understand, Nas is one of these artists. He doesn't have to rap to eat. This is clearly him wanting to have an artistic.
He has a passion for music.
Yeah, because this is like, the money he makes off of this is probably, inconsequential to the money he's made through all of his, his investments. He's got restaurants, mass
this hip hop thing is Nas's fountain of youth. This is what keeps him looking youthful.
Yeah, this is what keeps, him still feeling fly out here. And I have no problem with that.
What do y'all think about the concept of holding the artists that are older? Is it unfair to hold them to a standard that they've set when they get to this point in their career?
Somebody like Nas.
Do you mean like a previous standard, or what do you mean by standard?
When I say standard, I mean with Nas is looked at as a top 5 MC, all-time great. Mm-hmm. He's always dope when he pops out. Like, he has a standard lyrically that we come to expect. Mm-hmm. But I think it's just like sports. Sometimes we get older and we age, and we're not as sharp and as polished as we used to be. I think in music sometimes we do that as fans. We think, well, man, XYZ's falling off. He don't have it like he used to. And some people will say that's unfair, and some people will say, well, he has to maintain a certain status because he's a legend.
I don't think it's a situation where you could even say he fell off.
I don't. For the record, I have not. I don't believe that.
It's just a matter of sometimes you have some tracks that just weren't as good as other tracks that you put out as a whole. But I mean, it's not a bad project. It's cool. I'm spoiled from Killer Mike's album right now.
Good point.
We talked about how good Black Milk's album is as well.
Shout out to Black Milk.
But I don't think it's a miss.
No, please don't. Yeah, it's definitely not.
No,
a
it's
miss.
not. It's
but
not.
back to the point that like Mike's saying here though, like I don't think that artists necessarily like Nas, if he's not going to get worse throughout time regardless. I don't think any artist necessarily does. I think we all get better throughout time. I think the thing that happens is we as artists, we may get more maybe out of touch with maybe certain things, maybe trying new things or the sounds that we're trying to choose or all the things in between the talent level itself. Because can we actually really name an artist that's like really fallen off quality wise throughout time? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't
know. Because even when you think about, because the thing is, okay, I'll take it here first. Because with Nas, there are some people, especially if you're around our age, you remember what Illmatic was. I remember what Illmatic was, the hype.
Yes, we all do. Yep.
Okay. And you're not going to get that same feeling. You're not going to get that, because this is a kid who's 19 compared to somebody who's knocking on 50. And you're knocking on 50. You've grown with him, but at the same time, you have those memories of what you felt, when everyone was super excited about the Nas album, and then it's like, oh, what's he going to do next? Or when you heard him on Verbal Intercourse, and you're like, oh, it's just a problem. As far as people falling off, maybe when they're not as focused, everybody knows how much I love LL, but like LL,
that GOAT album wasn't great.
Nope.
And then there are other records after that I thought were better than what people remember them as.
Yeah.
But also LL, he was still in that mode to where technically he wasn't rapping to eat, because he was already a big star, but he was a part of a major label system that was still be like, okay, we got to get a song, You and the Dream, and we got to have a song with so-and-said hot rapper, and let's get you with Jennifer Lopez. Nas is not in that place. He doesn't care. Like, if he was going to try to, be a part of that system, he'd have got somebody else other than 50 Cent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because 50 Cent is also not rapping to eat.
Yeah, they're rich friends that just got on a track together.
I like what Nate Jeezy says. He says
that's essentially what I think I was like trying to allude to. What Nate's saying is like, I don't think artists get worse throughout time. I think they maybe just lose passion, or they don't. You know, passion is definitely good. That's definitely articulated kind of what I was looking at. But I think it's also like staying up on like, you know, what is deemed really good now as well.
Like the Andre 3000 explanation about why he doesn't want to keep doing music, because hip hop is what's new and fresh, and he feels like he's not hip.
Yeah, that's that aspect.
But that's him. Andre 3000 is in a class of his own.
Facts.
As far as artists are concerned, because he's like one of those people, you look up the definition of artist, you'd see an Andre 3000.
Yeah.
Because he's so critical of himself that he feels like he's still not cool enough to do it, and he's still doing it at a high level.
But even like the cool level, like when we're comparing, again, I haven't heard this Nas record, but if we're comparing the Nas record to the Killer Mike level or record, from what the 1 or 2 songs I've heard Nas releases like videos or singles, the Killer Mike album is really good front to back musically, and you can tell that there's like a certain type of passion involved in making that record.
Attention to detail, all of it.
It's not just like a bunch of songs kind of put together. It's like it's literally giving you an experience. And so maybe that's the effort aspect you guys are kind of...
You can see it too with his live show that he's doing, because the live show...
He's got a choir
is exactly
and
what we kind of explained it on the show, how it feels like going to church.
Yep.
That's how his show is. It's set up like... with a choir singing.
Yep.
He has a podium like he's a preacher. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's taking you to church.
I like what you said, Lone, about experimenting with sounds and stuff. It's Electric Circus. It's the album that Common did, produced by Pharrell. I can't even remember the name of it.
Right.
Universal Mind Control.
Thank you.
I think a couple of the Roots albums.
Roots albums. I think what you said, that's a part of it as well, because you get something envisioned in your mind that an artist is supposed to be at that level. You remember when that came out, or when that project just hit, it's like, I got to have that every single time. And as artists go through and become more creative and experiment, I think sometimes we use that maybe to the detriment. So you'll hear people say, oh, he's falling off, when in all actuality, it's just experimentation, and they're going a different direction.
And from an artistic standpoint, realistically, as an artist, they're growing,
right?
You know what I mean? The end product may not be as good as what we want, or maybe just not as good.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that them as an artist aren't growing.
Exactly.
Because Nas, be clear now, it's cool to me, but be clear, Nas can still rap. He's still snapping. Like, it's not about him being able to still hold up. He's still nice. It's just, it sounds like just a collection of records versus what you just talked about.
As opposed to the Killer Mike or even the Black Milk record.
Black Milk project.
Which you can definitely tell there's a lot of sound designing going on in his, what
they
he's
put some
doing.
work. They put some work into that production on both of those. But nah, man, I'm seeing, from what I see, I'm seeing mixed reviews. Some people love it. Some people say it's cool. I'm not going to say it's trash. Now, let's not get carried away. It's not trash.
I honestly know people that are our same age that have never liked Nas.
Yes.
Like ever.
Yes.
And that's okay. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
It just ain't for everybody. Everything ain't for everybody.
That's what I said. Like, I don't hate him, but I don't seek Nas.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Back to your point. We got sidetracked.
Yes.
What was the statement again?
It's just more about us how we hold them accountable as they age.
Are they held at a
higher standard?
I think they are. In general, I don't know if it's fair or not. It's
not fair.
It's probably not.
It's not fair, because,
but at the same time, or maybe it is fair.
It is, because you're used to a certain type of product, and if they're not giving you that same type of product, then you'll kind of frown upon it. But in the same token, like this project from Nas, I don't see as one of those projects that you can frown upon because of his classification in the rap world, I think, honestly.
Yeah.
I just think that's us. It's the fan in you. You have a certain connection with the artist, and there's certain levels of expectations that we have through our connections. I just think that's just us being fans. And you know what I mean? Like, I just think that's a part of it that comes with it. Now, fair or not, I mean,
when it comes down to, the artists get to choose what they want to do.
100%.
But at the same time, like, if I have a history of putting out a whole bunch of thematic type projects, and then I just randomly drop something that I don't do anything with, then you're ostracizing your fan base. So it's one of those type of things.